Right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Was the week of Earth Day. And coming up this week, I know big circle on your calendar is Hanuman's birthday is on Tuesday. So if you didn't know, Circle Tuesday is his birthday. So April kind of becomes de facto, or April into May, wherever his birthday kind of falls, usually becomes, we automatically teach on the Ramayana. We're automatically teaching on Hanuman because it's, the energy of him is so big. And I think it's a perfect time. It's always a perfect time, but the world is in a pretty crazy place right now still, right? It's still a difficult thing to get up every day and look at what's happening in front of us, either near or far or both, and figure out how to live in the world with your heart fully open, your eyes fully open, and stay in that place of compassion. And Hanuman is very much the energy that says what your heart can hold. Right. And our challenge is that our mind shuts down very quickly when there's too much stimulation, too much going on. And in the same way, the heart kind of shuts down when there's too much to feel, right? There's too much to hold and it's beyond us. And so we start to move away from it and we just focus on what we can do small in front of us, which is beautiful. But Hanuman is the energy that says that when things are too great to bear, they're too big for you, is instead of contracting, right, and trying to get away from it, he says, you just crack the heart open wider, right? The image of Hanuman that we see very often is at the actual end of the story of the Ramayana, where he actually rips his chest open, right, to make the point that in his heart is the image of Ram and Sita, the image of God fully realized, right, in him living in the heart. But that's the image that we have of Hanuman, is that he's willing to rip himself open to stay in that place of compassion and to stay in that place of being really devoted to being in the world as it is, even though there's suffering, and to do what he can, even though his entire journey in the Ramayana is him saying, really, you want me to what? I don't know how to do that. I don't think I can do that. You really think I can do that? I don't know if I can do that. Right? That's his story the entire time. It's not him saying, yeah, like I'm completely convinced that I can do these amazing things and that I can save the world. It's never in his mind. The only thing that's in his mind and in his heart is that there are people I care about that are suffering. There are people that are suffering, and I can do something about that. So I will do what I can. And every time something's placed in front of him that is too big for him, instead of contracting and saying, he says, all right, I'll try. And because he tries and because he loves so deeply, he succeeds, right? He never knows how he's going to do it. He just leaps, right? And that's the other image we have of Hanuman, is leaping across the ocean, flying through the sky, leaping across the ocean. Why? Because someone needs him. No idea if he can do it or not, but he leaps, right? So our practice with Hanuman is to come to that place of what it means to find yourself at your edge of what you think you can bear in your life, emotionally, mentally, whatever it looks like. And instead of contracting, to rip yourself open, right? Fall apart. And in that falling apart, say, I'm able to really stand here, eyes wide open, heart wide open, and hold on to that place of compassion. Hold on to that place of being devoted to being in the world as it is, even though there's suffering. So comfortable seat if you're not there already. And this is Hanuman's power, right? We say it's, he can fly and he can, change his size. He can become big or small. He can do all of these, incredible strength. He lifts a mountain, whole mountain, carries it. And we say, he can do such incredible things. None of that is what makes him great. What makes him great is that his heart doesn't waver. No matter what's asked of him, his heart doesn't waver. He says, I'll try. I'll try because I love you. The big you, right? Ram, God you. So with the eyes closed, breathe into the space of the heart. Well, it doesn't just mean physically breathing into your chest. It means to actually breathe into the emotions that are buried in you. So not just the surface level of today, I feel like this. Can you breathe into the depth of your emotional self, the things that have been hanging out there for the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, last year, last 5 years, last 50 years? Because our emotional self is built from the moment we enter the world, even before we enter the world. Entering the world means in your mother's womb. Your emotional self begins to form. So when you breathe deep into those layers of the heart, that is your strength to be in the world as it is. Because it's not your ability to achieve things that matters. It's the strength to be in the world, eyes wide open, heart completely open. And to maintain that state of compassion, to maintain the devotion to say, I will be here, fully present. In a world that is too big for my heart to individually bear. I can't hang on to it. But I can keep making my heart wider. You find the edges of yourself, and when you desperately want to contract, you let yourself fall open. It hurts far less. So it's the tender place of the heart that is the source of strength. When you find that vulnerable spot and you want to not push on it, just stay there where it's vulnerable. And then relax your shoulders. And realize that there's nothing you have to do except stay in that vulnerable place where you don't turn away from the world. One more deep breath, gathering the whole emotional self. And as you exhale, release trying to hold on to anything and just bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. We'll open with the sound of Om, deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release the hands, please, and then come forward onto hands and knees. And start to cat and cow. Making sure your fingers are spread wide so you have a real awareness of your hands. Maybe even pressing through your shins so you have an awareness of the lower legs. And you're moving the spine, bringing the heart forward between the arms on the inhale. The exhale, feeling the armpits really lift away from the floor as you draw the back of the heart to the sky. Good. So I think, I end up reading the Ramayana pretty much at least once a year around this time, partially because of Hanuman's birthday and partially because usually in teacher training, we do tell the story of the Ramayana, and we're going to this year too. And I usually end up being the one to tell it. So, you can't get it wrong. So you have to read it again to make sure you don't mess it up. But the last time that I read it, a scene that I didn't really pay attention to in great detail, some of the other times really stuck out in my mind. And I think it's still appropriate for where we are in the world. So in the story, the monkey army and Hanuman included, he's, the monkey, one of the monkey men or the monkey warriors, as they're traveling all over the world, all over the continent, trying to find Sita, Ram's wife, who's been kidnapped by this demon. And they can't find her anywhere. This is their one job, right? God asked you to do one thing. And they're trying to find her and they can't find her. They've looked everywhere. Literally everywhere. They're looking underground. They're like doing that thing where they're looking like in tree stumps, being like, is she here? Of course she isn't. Come back to child's pose, please. Knees nice and wide. Drop your hips back to your heels. Good. And then bend your elbows wide. Make a little pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on your hands. Good. And breathe wide into the back of the heart as you breathe wide into the back of your sacrum. And there's a scene where the part of the army that Hanuman is traveling with is they come to the edge of the ocean and they've looked everywhere and they have no idea where else to go, what else to do. And they're sitting on the edge of the ocean because they can't go any further. And they're talking about how they can't possibly go home, unsuccessful. They can't go home. They were the last hope, right? Everybody else had failed and they were the last hope. They're like, we can't go home without her or without knowing where she is. And we can't go any further. So what should we do, right? They're talking about throwing themselves into the sea, committing suicide because they just can't handle right? The failure. And so it's that moment, right, when they're sitting on the edge of the sea in despair, that someone says to Hanuman, you know, you're the son of the wind. You could probably get across this ocean. And he's like, what? I don't know about that. It's on the edge of despair that somebody reminds him that you're more than you think you are. And he takes that great leap and he finds Sita, his prize. Come back up to hands and knees. Stretch your right arm out wide to the right. Take that arm underneath you. Right shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze. Walk the left arm forward to straight. Thread the needle. Good. And staying anchored into your shins so that your pelvis is pointing straight down to the floor. So both sides of the pelvis level with each other. It's the shoulders that twist. Good. So you're lifting that right low belly higher and wider. Beautiful. And then release and come back to center. Go to the other side. Take the left arm out and wide. And slide that arm behind your right wrist. Shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze and take that right arm forward over the ear. Good. I don't think it had ever hit me before, right? We jump to those moments where the heroic thing happens and we get past the doubt, or we get past the feeling of like, how is this really going to work out? How is it possibly going to work out? We jump past that point and say, yay, it did. So to be Hanuman in that moment where you're on the edge of despair, on the edge of like, I really don't think I can handle this. This is beyond me. And a little voice says, but don't you remember? Don't you remember that you're capable of so much more? You just have to let yourself. Where does that voice come from? For him, it's a bear, right? A bear tells him. It's a great story, the Ramayana. And for you, where does that voice come from? We're told it comes from that deepest place of the heart. Unwind yourself, come back up to hands and knees. Good. And then press back downward facing dog. Nice. Pedal the feet just a little bit. Move the hips from side to side. Good. And then steady your heels, please. Bend your elbows wide in your down dog. As your elbows go wide, you feel the arms plug into the shoulder socket. Chest gets nice and wide. Press through the top of your head so you decompress the shoulders and the neck. Good. Press through the top of the head. Now squeeze your elbows towards each other so they face the back of your mat. And now pull your hips back, your thighs back until your arms come to straight. So do push through your hands, but lengthen your spine to straighten your arms. Good. And keep those armpits lifted and press through the crown of your head. Nice. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Take your left foot a little wider to the left. Drop the heel to 45 degrees. Warrior one. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Hips are facing straight ahead. Good. So watch that front knee is widening towards second or third toe. So Gina, maybe step your left foot a little wider to the left so you can turn your hips forward a little bit more. So the back foot steps all the way to the left edge of your mat. Nope, other way. There you go. And then arms up. Awesome, you guys. Take the hands back behind you, please. Interlace the fingers. Deep breath in, armpits lift. And then as you bow forward inside that front thigh, take the arms up and over any amount. Keep spinning that left hip forward, scoop your belly. Let that right knee go over the right ankle. So don't hang back, bring it forward. Nice. Good, you guys. Back thigh super strong. Squeeze the feet towards each other. Lift up so your torso parallels the floor, still clasping the hands. So pull the hands back, heart forward. Beautiful. And then release the hands so they come straight forward alongside your ears. Torso still parallels the floor. I know. Squeeze those legs. Scoop your belly now, and then lift your chest. Come all the way back up to warrior one, arms to the sky. Take it into a little baby back bend. Good. So as the heart lifts higher, again, you keep your front knee moving forward over the ankle. So keep the pelvis moving forward and down. Yeah. And then come all the way back up. Nicely done. Spin your back heel up so you're into a high lunge. Good. Adjust your feet if you need. And then bring your left hand to your outer right knee, please. Right arm extends straight back behind you. So a twist. Good. Not a prayer twist, a pretend prayer twist. So the left hand is on the outside of the knee, not the elbow, and the right arm is reaching back. So you keep your shoulders right on top of your hips. Stay vertical. Good. And then really reach through that right hand, the right side ribs. Twist a little deeper, navel to spine, open wide. Good. And then release both arms up to the sky, inhale. And then take the hands down to the floor, please. Nice job. Good. Step your left foot forward, top of your mat, both feet forward. Straighten both legs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Good. Feet underneath your hips. Right hand comes to your outer left ankle or shin. Left arm to the sky. Good. Keep this feeling that you're widening the inner thighs, scooping the belly. Good. And then heart falls back towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. That's it. Beautiful. And then release and switch, please. Left hand to outer right ankle or shin, right arm to the sky. And then same thing. So you widen the inner thighs. Try to keep those knees in line with each other. That's it. And then as you start to let your head fall back, your heart fall back towards the upper left-hand corner, you actually get more space on your side body. Good. So the heart is not limited to just that front part of your chest. It's this whole span of the back of your self, right? Whole span at the front of yourself. Release the hand down to the floor, please. Good. Plant the hand, step yourself back to downward facing dog. Bend both knees a lot. Cat cow your spine. Good. If cat cow and down dog is not an option, then drop to your knees and cat cow on hands and knees. Good. I also really enjoy the last time I read the Ramayana, I was struck very much by the unsung heroes, right? So the main character, of course, is Ram. Ram is the one who kills the demon. The whole story is about getting Ram to the point where he can kill the demon, right? But the whole time, or almost the whole time that Ram is, wandering the world trying to even find the guy he's supposed to be fighting, all of the important events, all of the things that make it possible for him to even step into that battle are done by other people, right? Lesser characters, quote unquote, the unsung heroes, the old eagles, right? The ones that try to rescue Sita and die in the process are the ones that are able to see across the ocean to find out where she is. The blind eagle who's able to do that, believe it or not. Come back to stillness, please. Take your legs to straight, downward facing dog. Good. And then again, bend your elbows wide. So as your elbows drop wide, your arms plug into your shoulders, your chest gets open. Good. And then lift the back of your throat and push forward through the crown of your head, like you're going to press your head to that space between your thumbs. So don't lift the chin. It's just the top of the head that does that. Good. And then squeeze the elbows towards each other. Press into your hands and pull your hips back to take the arms to straight. Lengthen your spine. That's it. Nice, you guys. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Take the right foot a little wider to the right, warrior one. So you're dropping that heel to 45 degrees. So it's not a complete parallel to the back of your mat. Toes are more forward. And then arms to the sky. Good. So you really, in warrior one, want that outer right hip to be spinning towards the top of your mat. So really try and focus on bringing the outer hip, the back hip, forward, and bring the top of that left side pelvis back and wide. Good. And then take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers. Armpits go nice and long, so lift up through your side ribs, and then bow inside the front thigh. Take the arms up and over any amount. Watch that as soon as you do that, that right hip is going to start to fly open. So keep turning it forward. Means you got to use your left thigh and your left butt cheek a little more. Good. Scoop the belly. Bring that left knee forward over the ankle. Again, don't hang back. Good. Press into that back foot as well. Nice. And then lift up so your torso parallels the floor. You're still in the lunge. Good. Release the hands, stretch them straight out alongside your ears, still in the lunge. Squeeze that left butt cheek back and in. There you go. Good. And then scoop your belly, bring your heart all the way up, come back to that upright warrior one, and then lift the chest a little higher, take it into a little baby back bend. Keep that front knee over the front ankle. So again, you're lifting from your low belly, but you're descending through the pelvis. Good. And then all the way back up. Really nice, Harriet. Nice, Victoria. Good, Laura. And then release those hands down to the floor, please. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Take your arms back up. Spin your back heel up, so high lunge. Sorry. Right hand to outer left knee. So bring the arms back to the sky. Right hand crosses the body to your outer left knee. Left arm reaches straight back behind you. So again, your shoulders are vertical. Do not lean forward. Good. Keep your shoulders upright and twist to the left. That's it. So this is the main difference here. Instead of doing prayer twist where we have to lean forward, stay upright. Bring your knee forward a lot into the lunge, kick your back thigh higher, and then open through your left side chest. Good. Nice, you guys. And then release, inhale, both arms to the sky. That's it. And then release the hands to the floor. There we go. Step forward, top of your mat. Now you'll be complete. Good. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Good. And then take that right hand to your left ankle. Right hand to left ankle, left arm to the sky. Good. Widen your inner thighs. That's it. Let your heart fall back towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Beautiful. And then release and switch. Take the left hand to your right ankle or shin, right arm to the sky. Good. Again, widen the thighs. Let your chest fall back. Let your head fall back towards the upper left-hand corner so you stay really open through your side ribs. Nice, Diane. Really good. Good, Andy. Good, Susan. And then release the hand down to the floor. Nice, Mark. Good. Plant the hand. Step your feet back, downward facing dog. Good. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push-up. Good. Take the feet together, please. Big toes and inner heels to touch. Roll onto the baby toe edge of your right foot. Right arm holds you. Left arm to the sky. Shavasana. Good. And then step your top foot back behind you, toes to the floor. Bend that knee. And then press into the feet. Lift your hips a little higher. Let the heart start to fall open. Throat draws back. Keep pushing into that right hand, though. Good. So you're taking a little back bend in Shavasana. Good. Bring it all the way back to downward facing dog, please. Deep breath in. Good. And then bring yourself forward, second side, armpits over the wrist. Bring the feet together, rolling onto the baby toe edge of your left foot. Left arm holds you, right arm to the sky. Shavasana, side plank. Good. And again, stepping the top foot back behind you, toes on the floor. Press into your feet, so stay light. Lift your hips higher. Keep the legs super engaged. Heart to the sky. Fall back and open. Good. Really nice, Mark. Nice, Gina. You got it. Good, Laura. Beautiful. And then slowly release back to downward facing dog, please. Good. Slide to plank one more time. Lower down to your belly. Forehead to the floor, bring your hands behind your head, elbows wide. Good. Keep the feet on the ground, lift your elbows up off the floor. So you feel that feeling of squeezing the upper arms into the center of the back or the center of the chest. And then feet stay on the floor, lift head, neck, and chest. Keep your gaze down on the floor. So it's crocodile pose. All right. So instead of cobra, foreheads to the floor, hands stay behind your head. Lift head, neck, and chest, hands behind your head. Good. So it's probably going to feel less satisfying than cobra, but I want you to feel, again, that space behind the heart, even if it feels restricted. Good. One more breath, lifting from your middle back, from your low rib cage, draw in. That's it. And then slowly release. Nice job. Plant the hands, press up to hands and knees. Good. Take your right leg up and back behind you in line with your hip. Yep. Walk the left arm forward towards straight. Take balance. Yeah, armpit lifts. You got it. So right leg is up, left arm is up. Beautiful. And then bend your right knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, lift that thigh higher, and then reach back for the foot or the ankle if you'd like, or just bring that left hand back behind your head if reaching for the ankle doesn't make any sense. Good. Once you have hold of that foot, kick that foot into your hand, lift your thigh higher, lift your chest higher. Good. Breathe. Relax your jaw. That's it. Awesome, you guys. Slowly release, extend all the way back out. Nice. And then release the hand, release the foot, release the knee. Good. Wiggle a little bit if you need. And then go to the other side. Left leg comes back and up behind you. Good. Foot flex, so toes point down towards the floor. Walk the right arm forward, take the balance. Good. So something has to stabilize you here, and that's the hand that's on the floor, the knee that's on the floor, and the space between them. So there has to be that squeezing of the shin and the hand, the shin and the forearm towards each other. Good. Bend your left knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Lift that thigh higher and then reach back for the foot or the ankle if you'd like. Or again, take that right hand behind your head, but still lift the thigh. That's it. Good. Watch that you don't let your right hip push out to the side in order to make that twist happen. Keep your right hip pulling in, chest up, thigh up. Kick that foot into your hand, navel engaged. Awesome. The unsung heroes, right? All the muscles that are holding you up right now. It's not your quad that's doing the big work. Good. Slowly release, extend all the way back out. You might disagree. You're like, my quad was doing big work. Release back to hands and knees. Good. Downward facing dog. Nice. The right leg comes up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left. Good. Do little circles with that knee. Nice. Opening up the hip. The unsung heroes, Hanuman, who finds Sita, is again one of the sung heroes. Talk about him a lot. We don't talk about the demon king's brother, who tries over and over again to convince him to stop doing what he's doing, gets kicked out of his own home by his own people because of it. Good. Lift that knee up and open, please. And then bring that knee forward towards your armpit. So it stays, you're staying stacked. Just bring the knee forward and wide so that your thigh is parallel to the floor, but lifted. That's it. And then extend that leg out to straight out to the side, straight out from your hip. That's it. Yep. Good. Inner heel facing the floor, straight out from your hip. Good. And then bend the knee again. Awesome. Stretch the leg straight back behind you, down dog split. Beautiful. Step that right foot between the hands, lunge at last. I know, get off of your hands. Drop the back knee. Good. Anjaneyasana, inhale both arms to the sky. Good. And then bring the hands together at the heart center, thumbs touching the top of your sternum, and then lift the heart even higher. So as though you're almost doing like a camel pose here, keep the heart lifted, lifted, lifted. Start to lean back, but keep lifting your heart up into your hands. So as you start to lift the sternum towards the sky to create that back bend, you're pulling up the whole time and you're letting the pelvis move forward, but you're pulling up through your side ribs, through your low belly. Heart to the sky, heart to the sky, heart to the sky. Nice, Gina. Good. Little more. Heart to the sky. Rotate. Nice, Mark. Good. Squeeze those legs. Now stretch the arms alongside your ears wherever you are in the back bend. Reach. Good. Reach, reach, reach. Let yourself fall back. Yes. And then navel to spine. Come all the way back up. Hands back to heart center. I know you're not done. Twisting to the right. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Good. Pressing the hands together and then squeezing the armpits towards the center of your back. So don't just do one, do both. So your chest stays really open. Good. Rotating a little bit more to the right. Optional, stay here or look down at the floor. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Come into that higher prayer twisting lunge. Good. Again, if that transition feels like not a good one, stay where you are. Awesome. And then release the twist wherever you are. Inhale both arms up to the sky. Doesn't matter where your knee is. Just lift the arms. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Beautiful. If your knee is lifted, drop it back down. Good. Move your left hip back in space so it's on top of that left knee. Take your right leg forward to straight up on the heel. Ardha Hanumanasana. Good. Use blocks underneath the hands if you need. Walk those hands forward towards your ankle. Good. And you're drawing back through the tops of your thighs. So right foot is forward, Andy. Ardha Hanumanasana, so half split. Nope. Right foot is forward. So other foot forward. Andy, you're just on the wrong foot. So just switch your legs. Take your right leg forward and your left knee underneath you. There you go. Just switch your legs. Yep. Just right leg forward. I know once you're lost in a flow, there's no hope, right? The edge of despair. Right. We don't talk about the characters like Ram's brother. We do talk about him, but we don't talk about how he keeps Ram sane while he's on his journey, or how when the big battles are happening, right? There's the demon king who Ram has to fight, but there's the demon king's son who's actually doing far more damage, causing far more trouble. And the one who defeats him is not Ram, it's Ram's brother. And so there's all of these little stories that are interwoven into the big one, the one that we think matters the most. And the big one wouldn't have meant nearly as much, couldn't even have happened if all of these smaller stories hadn't taken place. Take one more breath where you are. I know you feel like you've been there forever. And then go ahead and pull that heel back and in. Good. Lift the back knee up. Step back to plank pose, upward push-up. Good. Take the feet together, please. Vasisthasana, right hand holds you, right foot holds you. Take the left arm up to the sky. Again, you can always step that top foot forward or back if you need, or drop the bottom knee to the floor. Deep breath in. Good. And then bring yourself back to plank pose, upward push-up, and just roll straight to the other side. Take a deep breath in, roll onto the left foot. Left arm holds you, right arm to the sky. Feel that consistent squeezing of the legs towards each other and the consistent squeezing of the armpits towards the center of the back. And let your heart fall open, let your throat fall back. Nice. Really nice. Good, Mark. Good, Victoria. Good, Diane, Harriet, everybody. And then slowly release back to plank pose. Lower down slow. Control it. Don't fall to the floor. All the way to your belly. Good. Rise up, cobra. Lift head, neck, and chest. Or whatever variation of back bend is going to work for you today. Good. And then release, downward facing dog. Right. So again, you're here for a little bit. You could do this sequence on your hands and knees if you need to, if being in down dog doesn't work for you. Left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Stack the left hip on top of the right. Good. Little circles with that knee. And we often don't talk about the underlying, story that this entire time that this, big journey is going on and this battle is happening is Ram's wife Sita has been in captivity. Most of the story, she's in captivity, right? She's been kidnapped. And so Ram is the one that deals does the big battle and kills the demon. But by the time he gets to Ram, he's basically given up the fight. Why? Because of Sita. Good. Lift that knee up and open, please. Stack the hip. And then pull that knee forward so that it parallels the floor. So you're pulling it straight out in line with your hip, and then extend that leg out to straight, please. Press out through your heel. So your leg should be parallel to the floor, straight out. Flex the foot. I know it's inner thigh, it's outer hip. It's not fun, but do it. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Don't get tense in your jaw. Good. And then bend the knee again, please. Take that leg straight back behind you, down dog split. Beautiful. And then left foot finds its way between the hands, lunge. However you need to get there. Good. Drop the back knee, please. Use a blanket underneath the knee if you need. Anjaneyasana. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Good. Bring the hands to the heart center, please. And again, coming into that back bend by lifting as tall as you can. So watch that front knee is still over the ankle. So you're not leaning your whole everything back onto the front leg. You're staying forward with your pelvis. But as the chest lifts and lifts and lifts and lifts, start to tilt your sternum up towards the ceiling. Start to find that back bend again that feels almost like camel, that you're pulling up through the side body, pulling up through the low belly. Good. Feeling the armpits squeezing back towards the center of your heart, the center of your back. Sternum lifts, lift, lift, lift. Good. And fall back. Nice, Marlene. And then stretch the arms alongside your ears wherever you are. Nice, Harriet. Good, Susan. Nice, Victoria. Good, Andy. Nice, Laura. Beautiful, Gina. One more breath. Let your hips come forward as your heart goes high. Good. And then navel to spine, come all the way back to upright. Don't give up on the lunge. Hands to heart center. Stay lifted through your upper body, twisting to your left, right elbow to the outside of that left knee. Prayer twist. Draw your ribs in. So instead of pushing forward, again, you just did a back bend, do the reverse, hollow, ribs in as you twist. Beautiful. And those armpits pull towards the center of your heart. And then either stay here or look down, lift the back knee up, come to that higher prayer twisting lunge. Good. I say look down just so that you have a clear, steady point of balance, right? Steady focus point as you change your center of gravity. There you go. And then wherever you are, unwind the twist, take the arms up to the sky, inhale. Good. And then release the hands back down to the floor, please. If your knee is lifted, drop that back knee back to the floor. Move your right hip back so it's right on top, right in line with that knee. Take the left leg forward to straight. Ardha Hanumanasana. Come up on the heel. Good. Nice. And again, you're bowing forward, hands walking towards the ankle. So the Ramayana is this story about the endless victory, right, of God, of righteousness or goodness, overcoming darkness in the world. And so we think of that as Ram. Ram is the embodiment of that. But it's really all of these other characters that carry it in the world, right? Ram is maybe one big symbol, but it's the eagle that dies and the blind eagle that, makes the realization of where Sita is. It's the bear that tells Hanuman that he's capable of doing what he's doing, right? It's the demon's brother who stands up for what's right, even though it gets him kicked out. It's Sita who spends most of the story weeping because she's, again, in and out of that edge of faith and despair, saying, is anyone coming for me? Does anyone care that I'm here? Does my life mean anything to you? Right? So these are the characters that are really the ones that are victorious. And they're not the big heroes, right? They're not the ones that get all the credit. They're the ones that do a lot of the work. And so this is us, right? How big is your heart and how much can your heart bear? Can you bear to do the work of your life, be in your life fully? Maybe never thinking of yourself as a hero, never thinking of yourself as the one that's doing the big work, but you are. Right? Your every breath is what makes that big work continue to be allowed to happen. You feed it. So the unsung heroes. Gotta dig down through that front heel. Again, make this pose bearable. Good. And one more breath, pull back through your pelvis. Soften through your shoulders. That's it. Good. And then pull that heel back, please, to that low lunge. Lift the back knee up, step back plank pose, upward push up. Good. Armpits over your wrist. Take the feet together, please. Vasisthasana, turning on to the right hand, right foot, left arm comes to the sky. And again, maybe here you take a variation, take that top foot to the inside of your bottom thigh for a tree pose. Good. Maybe you do something even more elaborate, up to you. You can always reach for that foot, take it up to the sky, and then twist yourself into a full Hanumanasana. Lots of fun things. Good. Slowly release, please. Come back to plank pose, upward push up, wherever you are. Nice, Mark. Good. Go to the other side, turning on to the left baby toe. Left hand holds you, right arm to the sky. Again, your variation might be taking the bottom knee to the floor, stepping your top foot forward. Good. The option is to step that top foot to the inside of the thigh. Practice that feeling of balance in a different way. Pull those arms towards the center of your back. Nice, really nice, Laura. Good. And then slowly release back to plank pose. Press back downward facing dog. And then drop to your knees, child's pose. Take the elbows nice and wide. Make a little pillow. Forehead comes to rest on your hands. Nice. And we don't even really always mention, but we talk about the unsung heroes. The reason why everything happens is there's Ram's stepmother who is the one who gets him exiled in the first place. He wouldn't even be in the jungle, in the woods, if it weren't for her. And everybody's so angry when it happens. And, her own sons want to basically kick her out of the kingdom, or they want to murder her. They're so upset. And he says, no. He says, why would you be mad at her? Right? She's doing what she thinks she needs to do. And there's a purpose to this. It's fine. Be the nicest to her because she's suffering the most. In place of compassion, right? Not just about being nice, but try to understand that the ones that act in terrible ways are suffering the most. Walk yourself to the right, please, over your right thigh. So these unsung heroes, the ones that, make the story happen. And if we're always waiting for the big guy, the superhero, to come and do the work, is that we miss the part that we're already playing. Come back to center, walk to your left. And that's Hanuman, right? He never tried to step into a big role. He simply did what was asked of him. And with the thought that I have no idea if I can do this, he says, but I'll try. Because I'll try because I love you, and I'll try because someone's in pain. And if there's something I can do, I'll do it. So we get into that concept, right, of the big soul purpose of what are we here to do? You're here to do what you can. Don't worry about if you're able to do what you're supposed to do. Just do what you can. Keep your heart open. Keep your eyes open. Walk back to center, please. Pay attention to those unsung heroes. Good. Then walk yourself all the way back up. Nice. Come to sit on your butt. Stretch the legs out in front of you. Good. Right leg stays straight. Bend your left knee. Bring the bottom of the foot to the inside of your right thigh. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Good. Little twist to your right, Janu Shavasana. So let that left knee go wide. Good. And then bow over the right leg. Forward fold. Good. Hanuman is a heroic character, but he is far from what you'd consider flawless. And those moments, right, like the one sitting on the side of the ocean in despair, remind us of that. Is that to have great strength doesn't mean that you never have doubt. Or to be able to accomplish great things doesn't mean that you knew from the beginning that you would succeed. But what carries Hanuman is not his power of the wind. It's not what he was born with as being the son of one of the gods. What carries him is that his heart is completely devoted to Ram, to God, to the world, whatever phrase you want to put there. Take one more breath, twisting through the belly. So again, opening wider through the chest. Good. Then walk yourself all the way back up. Beautiful. So now take that left knee facing up towards the ceiling, plant the foot. Good. Inside that right thigh. And then move it just a tiny bit wider away from your thigh. So there's a little bit of space. Good. Right hand comes behind you. Left arm comes to the sky. Yep. And you're going to lean forward like you're coming into the forward fold with your left arm inside your left knee. So just reach forward like you're going to reach for your foot with that arm. Good. Come as far forward as you can. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. So Mark, you got to take your right knee facing up towards the ceiling. The foot is flat. And actually you're on the wrong leg somehow. Right leg is forward, straight. There you go. And then left arm reaches inside your left knee. There you go. Good. So you're in that deep forward fold. Optional is to wrap that left arm. So press the left upper arm against your shin. Do that. Take your hand to the floor. Left hand to the floor. Yep. Pressing the upper arm back against your shin, still leaning forward. That's option one, right? You just stay there. Option two is keep that upper arm pressed where it is. Start to wrap the arm around the front of your shin, reaching for your outer left hip or your lower back. So you're wrapping the arm. Yep, it's a bind. And then that right arm can wrap all the way back behind you. So you're holding, squeezing that knee. You got it, Andy. Good. You got it, Victoria. And then you lean forward, right? That's it. Marichasana. Named for one of the sages, but one of the sages who is also one of the demons in this story, right? Without him, the story would not happen. One more breath, chest open. Good, squeeze. And then slowly unwind. Nice, you guys. Good, I know that's a complicated pose to describe on Zoom too, so you did a good job. Left leg stretches forward in front of you. Let that knee go. Good. Bend the right knee, bring it in, bottom of the foot to the inside of your left thigh. Knee goes wide. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Little twist to your left, bow over the left leg, Janu Shavasana. So the right knee is open wide, Marlene. Just let that knee widen. Yep, right knee drops open. You got it. Bow over the left leg. So this is the first variation, right? Different pose. Good. So this is one of the demons who, against his better judgment and against his own wishes, gets coerced by Ravana, the king of the demons, to pretend to be a deer to draw Ram away from Sita so that she can be kidnapped. And of course, he dies in the process. But they say in the story that everyone who dies by Ram's hand or who dies in his service is released from their karma. So it's an end for him of having to do things against his will, right? Of being stuck in a form where he couldn't get out from underneath that influence, right? This is symbology. So what does it take for your heart to be free? Sometimes it takes that feeling of something dying. Walk yourself all the way back up. All right, here we go. So right knee, bent knee, faces up towards the ceiling, plant the foot just a little bit wider to the right. So move it so that it's not up against your left thigh. And then left hand comes behind you, right arm up. Yep. And you're leaning forward, right shoulder inside that right knee. So lean forward as though you're going to reach for your foot. So you have to come real far forward as you can. Hand behind you is helping, right? So the first variation here is to bring your right upper arm, basically your right elbow up against the front of your shin and take that right hand to the floor. Good. You can even take your left arm forward so you're in like wide spider arms and just stay in the forward fold if that feels good. Second option is to wrap that right arm around the outside of your shin. So you got to turn the elbow, you got to turn the shoulder forward, reach around and reach for your lower back. Left hand reaches back as well. So you're basically binding, squeezing that knee in. Good. You can twist open to the left here a little bit if that works better for the shoulders. But the other variation is to keep the shoulders straight ahead, just in the forward fold. So whichever way works for you. And if none of the ways are working for you, then you'll come up with whatever you think is the best option here. Good. Squeeze those arms. Again, if you don't squeeze your arms into the shoulders here, this pose can feel very uncomfortable. So you got to plug in. Good. One more breath. Lean forward. Awesome. And then slowly release and unwind. Nice, you guys. Good. Take the bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. Take your arms out to the side. Good. Do a little just turning the palms up and then turning the palms down. So you're just rotating the shoulders, arms up, palms down, palms up, palms down. Good. And then take the palms to face down again and do little circles with your arms. Little circles. Again, feeling the connection of the arms into the shoulder socket. So you still have this feeling of hugging the arms in as they are circling. So you're keeping the torso as rooted as you can, as still as you can. Good. Move your circles in the other direction. Nice, nice little circles. A little faster. There you go. Good. I know it's a little like high school gym class, but we don't do these things, right? And we need to have this awareness of the arms and the shoulders working. Good. And then pause, please, stretching out through your fingertips. Good. And then wrap the right arm over top of the left in front of you. Squeeze the forearms, eagle arms. And the heroes of the story. The ones that try their best even though they can't succeed. Deep breath in, lift the elbows higher. And then as you exhale, curl in, bring your elbows down in towards your belly, round your back. Good. And then come all the way back up, stretch the arms out wide, letter T. Good, and then bring the left arm over top of the right in front of your chest, wrapping the arms for eagle the other direction. And again, feeling the lift of your chest and pulling back through the armpits. Beautiful. On the inhale, you lift the elbows a little higher, and then on this exhale, bring the elbows down and in towards your belly, round into your back. Good. Curve, curve, curve. Nice. And then slowly release, come all the way back up, stretch the arms out and wide. Good. And then just forward fold over the legs, Baddha Konasana, walking the hands forward if you'd like, or holding the ankles, whichever variation you prefer. So we say the story of the Ramayana is about this, good overcoming evil, or righteousness overcoming darkness, or light overcoming dark, because it is that. But it happens because there are so many characters that move themselves through doubt and through fear into a place of faith. I don't know if I can do this, but I'll try. I don't know if I can succeed, but it matters to me, so I'm going to risk, right? And this is the power that Ram had, is not so much that Ram himself could accomplish everything that he needed to do, but he inspired along the way everyone else to step into who they are. And so every one of us, right, we have that spark. We're told in yoga, you have that spark of the divine in you already. It's that little voice that says, but you can do this. I know you don't know how, but you can do this. So we're asked to listen for that, to feel for that. And it's deep down in the place where there's still doubt and there's still fear and there's still sadness and there's still grief and there's still all the things that are about being in the world. And that spark is there. You can't have one without the other. So practicing feeling your whole emotional self. Walk yourself all the way back up. Good. Take your feet out in front of you, bend the knees, plant the feet. Take your hands back behind you, fingers pointing towards your heels. Give the elbows a little bend and squeeze the upper arms and lift the chest and then come up into reverse table, please. So pressing into the hands, into your feet, lift your hips. Good. Try and find that place where your chest is lifting more than you are pushing through your elbows. Yeah, so you might even take your hands a little wider if the shoulders are tight and really get this feeling that you are lifting the armpits up, lifting your chest up, even lifting your inner thighs up, that it's a lifting through your torso and not a pushing through your hands and your feet. Good. Nice, you guys. One more breath. Beautiful. And then release the hips back down to the floor, please. Awesome. I'm going to give you a chance to go upside down if you have that availability. So my greatest suggestion for you, because it is Hanuman week, Hanuman month, is that if you have a wall, my favorite inversion, of course, is hanging Hanuman. So that starts in a down dog split with one foot up on the wall. And then you walk your hands back a little bit and just lift the lower leg. So you're in a down dog split on the wall, lift your butt up so the second leg just hangs in a split. So if that option is available to you, go for it. If there's a different inversion you'd like to do, feel free to do that. If you don't have wall space and you just want to put your sacrum on a block, either in bridge or legs up in a supported shoulder stand, you can do that. If you want to ignore me completely, you're always able to do that. If you want me to put you in a breakout room by yourself, I can do that too. Just kidding. Some variation of upside down, even if that means laying on your back with your legs up to the sky. Good. Yay, 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 if you're doing my favorite, the hanging split. So you start that in downward facing dog with one foot up on a wall. That's it. And then you walk your hands slightly back, let the legs hang. So you're still in that split position, but you got to lift through your hips. Nice, Mark. You got it. Good, Andy. I like that variation. Nice. And make sure if you're doing the hanging split, you do both sides. Good. And we find out that we are capable of far more than we thought when we find that tender edge. And this is how Pema Chodron talks about it, is that there's a tender spot in every single heart. The hardest of hearts has a tender spot. And you could say it's that tenderness that is the source of compassion, or that it's the place of compassion exists in everyone. For some, it might be buried a whole lot. They don't tap into it. They're not aware of it, but it's there. And I think it is that tender spot that is the same description, same place that we're given as the Jiva Atman, right? The seat of your soul. The greatness of your soul doesn't just exist in the moments when you're in triumph. The greatness of your soul, the greatness of your heart, is that it continues to glow or burn or be bright even when you are on the edge of despair, when your mind can't handle it. So we celebrate Hanuman not because he can do great things, but because he loves so much that he is willing to keep becoming, to keep falling apart and keep becoming. A couple more breaths and you're upside down, whatever that looks like. Nice, Susan. And then as you're ready, very gently find your way down out of your inversion. If you are in shoulder stand, rolling down the spine, making sure you bend the knees, your hips come low. If you are upside down in some other variation, if you want to sit in either Virasana or a child's pose for a few moments, make sure that you do that. And then everyone finds their way onto their backs, please. Good. Taking the right ankle over the left thigh. Lift your left shin parallel to the floor, reach through to hold. Good. Drawing the thigh in towards your belly, flexing the feet. Nice, you guys. Breathe wide into your shoulders here. Again, we tend to think the legs are doing all the work, so it's okay to tense the shoulders and the neck and to get really tight in the upper body here. Don't do that. Relax. Good. And then release the thigh. Please cross your right leg all the way over top of your left. Separate the feet, reach for the ankles or the shins. Drawing the knees in towards the chest. Gomukhasana legs, so just thigh all the way over, Marlene. Yep, right thigh over left, all the way wrapped. There you go. Awesome, you guys. And then release the ankles, please. Squeeze the shins together. Scoot your hips over to the right, please. Drop your knees to the left. So a spinal twist with the legs wrapped. If the knees don't like twisting in that position, then unwind the legs and just stack the knees on top of each other. Good. Unwind, come back to center, please. And then take your left ankle over your right thigh. Right shin parallels the floor. Reach through to hold. That supine pigeon position. And make sure you put a little bit more weight on the right side of your sacrum here because we tend to fall towards that bent knee. Nice, you guys. And then releasing the thigh, take the left thigh all the way on top of the right, stacking the knees, separate your feet, reach for your ankles. Or anywhere on the leg, really. Does not have to be specific to the ankles. Again, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Knees folding in towards the chest, low back anchoring down to the floor. The power that brings us back into balance, or that is the overcoming of darkness, is not in accomplishing the right things. It's in having a heart that is able to keep being present in the world, keep overturning the despair. So you come back to faith, you come back to the possibility that you can be present in this world as it is. Release the ankles, please. Squeeze the shins towards each other. Keep the legs wrapped. Scoot your hips over to the left. Drop your knees to the right with the legs wrapped. And again, if the knees don't like that, then of course, unwind the legs. Just stacking the knees. So one of Hanuman's descriptions is that he is steel-framed, unbreakable. Not just his body, but his heart is unbreakable. His devotion is unbreakable. So we celebrate that because Hanuman is us, right? Confused, wandering the world, wondering, what am I supposed to be doing here? You want me to what? Unwind your legs, come back to center. I want you to find that tender place in your heart and hang on to it. Plant your feet, please. Arms into robot arms. Come into bridge, lift the hips, lift the heart. Good. Squeeze back on your feet so it's like you're pulling your butt to your heels. Lift your armpits a little more. Long throat, like you're drawing the top of your head away from your shoulders. Good. And then slowly uncurl your spine, one vertebra at a time, come back to the floor. Stretch your legs straight out in front of you, flex the feet. Take your arms up alongside your ears. Good. Full body stretch, pressing down through the tops of the thighs, through your heels, through your ribs. Wide chest. Deep breath. And then exhale, release, letting the feet drop open, arms drop alongside the body, palms facing up. Shavasana. Maybe again, breathing consciously into the space of the heart, looking for that feeling of vulnerable tenderness, where you are completely open to your own emotional self, all of it. And by doing that, you become open to the emotional self, the tender heart of other beings. And their struggles become yours, and your struggles become theirs. And maybe there's just a deep love for everyone who's struggling. We call that compassion. One of the famous quotes of Hanuman is he says to Ram that when he forgets who he is, he says, I serve you completely. I follow you. But when I remember who I am, you and I are one. No separation. When we start to tap into that tender place of the heart, we start to tap into that compassion that links us with all other beings. So we touch something that is so much bigger than us. And just like the bigness of the world, the sadness of the world, we can't hold it. It's beyond us. But instead, it draws us open into it. You can be in the world exactly as you are. So on the edge of despair, there's also that edge of coming into your full awareness. Touch the heart of God. It's already in you. Begin to breathe a little deeper, wiggling fingers and toes. And as you're ready, draw the knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. Take a moment before you begin to push the floor away, coming back to an upright seated position. Hands coming to rest at the heart center. Heart of God, the heart of you, burns with the same flame. It's a story of the Ramayana. That's what we're meant to take away. That you are the light of the world. It's only when you forget that darkness seems so great. So don't forget. Close with the sound of Om, deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week till I see you again. Sorry I kept you a little late this morning. But Hanuman's birthday is Tuesday, so if you want to have a party for him, any excuse for cake.